In the past few weeks, CME futures were put on the XRP database. A lot of you probably didn't know the exact effect, the total amount of volume it's created, or what this means for the future of XRP. Well, I did the math, and I'm going to give you all the hard facts in today's video to show you how amazing this really is. It made me very excited about the future of XRP, the possible futures contracts, and what this means for institutional adoption. I think some of you will feel the same way when you see some of the numbers I'm going to show you in this movie. Please click the like button. It's clear to everyone, so let's talk about CME and what this means. For those who don't know, CME stands for the Chicago Mercantile Exchange Group. It is the world's largest derivatives trade market. Now, you may be wondering what this has to do with XRP. They put XRP futures and micro XRP futures on their markets on May 19th. We all know that XRP is a great cryptocurrency, and this gave institutional buyers safe ways to get into it. We can see that this move shows that both big and small investors are becoming more interested in XRP. It was a pretty big change. I talked about this on my YouTube channel before it went live, but I've learned a lot more about the volume, how these institutions are using it, and what this might mean for the future of XRP since then. But first, I'd like to talk about some of the tools and analytics we can use. Basically, they have pricing and analysis tools that can help you make and improve your XRP trading plans. They have report data that shows market positions, long and short, and how they have changed over time. This is very, very helpful for people who want to trade and see how many longs and shorts are open on the market right now. They also have price history and a tool for rural strategy analytics. Now, let's talk about why this is important for XRP. As you may already know, Solana variants have been around for a while, so the first thing we should do is, of course, compare the XRP derivatives to the Solana derivatives and look at the volume numbers to see which one is moving more, because it's clear that if Solana is growing much faster than XRP, it means that institutions want Solana more. However, I saw something very different when I looked at the numbers, which we will talk about in a moment. For starters, I want to make it clear that the micro XRP futures are a big part of what these companies use. This lets smaller portfolios have exact risk management, so institutions can fine-tune their exposure without taking on too much debt. This is where we see a big chunk of the whole amount coming from. As we scroll down, we can see that there were a lot of trades. Not much is known about their exact effect on the XRP ledger, but here is an overview of the trade amounts that have been reported. On the first day of trading, May 18th, 19, over $19 million, 0 cents worth of trades were made, and a blog trade was cleared by Hidden Road. This included both normal XRP futures, which are worth 50,000 XRP each, and micro XRP futures, which are worth 2,500 XRP each. For example, there are about 4 normal contracts, 480,000 at 235 XRP, and 106 micro contracts at about 1 million XRP. On day 2, trading volume allegedly went over 10 million in notional value, though some sources say it dropped to around 7 million. In the days that followed, we heard of a single-day volume of about 2.4 million, with 9 standard contracts and 1 million at 235 XRP traded. The micro contact amounts were not fully described or available. That's still pretty good though. Even more so when we look at it next to other cryptocurrencies. We can see that the $19 million first day volume and later trading activity show that institutional interest has grown, which makes the XRP market more liquid overall. The higher liquidity on regulated markets like CME can keep the price of XRP stable by reducing volatility. As we saw with Bitcoin, this is possible. Once these kinds of futures contracts were made public a while ago, they had a big impact on how stable Bitcoin was. The total amount of volume also went up in a way we've never seen before when the ETFs for Bitcoin were fully launched. The CME CF XRP dollar reference rate is used to settle CME's futures. This is a clear standard that helps find the best prices and aligns the market price of XRP with what institutions are doing. Posts on X said that the high volume at the start of the sale made people optimistic about XRP's price, and some users wondered if future ETF approvals would happen. That must be the next step, right? CME futures contracts are being used by institutions? That's great, but approvals for ETFs are bigger, right? This is the first of many steps. So it's clear that seeing this is great. So it made sense for me to ask about other crypto options and how they were doing. Like we can see, Bitcoin futures had an average of 198,000 contracts every day, which was worth about $11,300,000,000, 0 cents. and bids on about 251,000 contracts worth $21,800,000,000, which is an increase of 83%. As we can see, Ether was also about 50 ETH per contract, with the CME CF Ether dollar reference rate used for settlement. You can also see that each micro Ether contract was worth about 1.1 ETH, and the amount of Ether that was traded, which was 11.3 billion over 3 months in Q1 2025, made a big difference to CME. That's pretty good. We're fighting with Ethereum, but XRP gets about 19 to 10 million per day on average. If you add that up over a quarter, you can see how strong our market is. That's totally crazy. That being said, Solana is another coin that I know a lot of you are interested in. For example, how is XRP different from Solana? You can see that since the start, Solana futures have gained 705 million in notional value, which is a lot less than the 19 million XRP that it had on its first day. Solana is a lot less valuable than XRP. It's not clear what the daily amounts are, but Solana's futures are known to have a lot of institutional interest because Sol is becoming a more popular and fast blockchain. It's clear that people are interested in Solana, but I think a lot of you should be happy about how much more people are interested in XRP. Even though Ethereum has a much larger market capitalization, XRP is competing with it and even going faster than Solana. That's amazing news, and I think you should be very excited if we're going to get billions of dollars worth of volume similar to Ethereum in our first quarter on the CME contract here. That will definitely lead to a lot of people using XRP, and it will also help keep prices stable, which I'm very excited about. Note that XRP has dropped about 20 cents recently, but so has the rest of the crypto market. The price of most of the crypto market has dropped a lot. In the middle of May, XRP was worth about $2.35 a coin. It is now worth $2.15 a coin. To be honest, the price has been pretty steady. Now, in the short term, I think it's very likely that XRP will go down even more, but this is still very important for long-term usage and price discovery, right? XRP's price won't change exactly because of these futures until they happen, but we can look at how they changed Bitcoin's price, right? When ETFs, CME futures, and other things first came out for Bitcoin, the price didn't change much at first. But as time went on and more institutions learned about the benefits of these contracts, they quickly became popular. This clearly caused the price of Bitcoin to rise. ETFs in particular are the most important piece of this puzzle that we're still waiting to see for XRP. Once you know that those ETFs are fully accepted and being traded by big names in the space like BlackRock and Grayscale, we'll be able to access trillions of dollars in cash in the XRP ledger over time, right? For many, that's where the real money is. You should look at Bitcoin as an example. It's amazing what I was able to do once those ETFs were cleared. We went from having about 50,000 to having over 100,000. That's it, right? I also think that if that can make Bitcoin go up